Welcome to episode 7 of Box Turtle Bites. I'm Jason. He's TJ. TJ, what are we doing tonight?
We're looking at serverless databases.
All right. I'm going to put my headphones on so that. There we go. So I can make sure I have my volume up good and high. All right, so we're going to look at serverless databases a little bit. We're a little bit off the AI train, even though that's really what we're spending most of our time doing, if we're being honest. But we thought we'd, switch things up a little bit tonight. We're going to try 2 databases, Aurora, serverless. So AWS's built-in database, and then there's one called Neon. It's one of the new Postgres-based serverless ones that we can just kind of go online and do it. It's all, supposed to work just serverlessly. So we're going to try both of them out. All right, so we did a little bit of pre-work here, but as things go, things don't always work as you hope they do. So we're trying to get an Aurora serverless database set up via CDK, and it's not really that hard, but at the same time, it's kind of a pain, which is exactly why I hate these things. So really all we have so far, let me get rid of this because this was our first failed attempt because we started on B1. We have a database cluster. I had to have a VPC because that's required. Gave it a database name. We're using version 16. So what does the writer stuff have in it here?
This is provision write, like you're going to get a read and a write, right? And so you have to tell it how big is the writing.
So where are we specifying that this is serverless though? Because like when I was looking at some of the examples on this, and again, like it's deprecated, but they were doing instance props and they did serverless in there.
Yeah, I don't know.
So I was wondering if there's like something on this instance type. Sorry, I'm messing with you.
Oh, you're good. Is there like a specific training video?
Yeah.
Graviton.
These are all like so old. Like everything I find is just so old.
I was looking through it, but I don't know.
All right, so there's
it's burstable.
There's got to be something on here. Cluster scalability type. Let's see if it's that. There we go. Oops. What is the type on this thing? Cluster scalability type. No, that's limitless versus standard. That's not it. Instance update behavior. Performance, security groups, serverless v2 min capacity. Well, maybe if I set that. It at least will break. I bet you if I do this, it'll tell me what we did wrong. Or it'll just work. Let's see what it does.
So one of the things that you can do is the max capacity. And the min capacity. Where is the min? Why does it say it's not on there?
That's interesting. Because I already put it on there. Up line 29. That's what I just set.
Oh, you can go to 0.
Yeah, I know. I just put a value in there.
And then I think it just is. It's already serverless. It's just.
Well, I mean, the Aurora is not necessarily serverless.
But, yeah, I think the one that we're using though is.
Yeah, well, I'm hoping so. Let's see what this thing's doing because
like even the scaling is talking about serverless scaling options for like the ACUs. And it's automatically paused after 5 minutes of being idle.
So I'm trying to see like where the. I don't think this is a. Like I can't. I don't even know how I could tell whether or not this was serverless, which is kind of frustrating.
Yeah, I don't know.
Like it just says it's Aurora Postgres SQL.
Oh, are you looking in the?
Yeah, just looking at it in the console.
Let me...
The only thing that says serverless is where I've named something serverless, but that doesn't mean anything. All right, just for the sake of figuring this out, I'm going to create one manually.
0 instances. It's creating the reader and writer.
Yeah. But I can't tell. Let's just see. I'm going to create another one with the easy create. Oh, come on. I don't need enhanced monitoring. Why are you doing that? Well, their easy create is not very easy because it didn't work. So that's cool. So these are the things that, they don't tell you about, right? Like it just works. Okay.
Yeah, this one's a little difficult. You're right. It does not tell you at all.
Under instance configuration, and here they've got serverless as part of the instance configuration. So let's. It's rolling back, by the way.
Why?
I don't know. I haven't looked at that yet.
Oh, it's just backing it up. Oh, is it?
Rollback.
You mean the CDK is rolling back?
Yeah, CloudFormation's rolling back. Mm-hmm.
I have no idea. What if you do the create database?
Well, that's what I tried. Go ahead and try that. I tried the easy one that didn't work, so I was starting down this path.
16.6.
Yeah, that's fine. Change it to dev, and then when you get down a little bit further, there's a spot to pick serverless. Keep going.
It won't let you.
No, that's
oh,
limitless.
That's the limitless.
Yeah. Keep going right here. Where's the serverless v2? Click that.
Where? Oh,
right. Yeah, there you go. And then
maximum.
Yep.
Don't do replica.
Yep. See if that one works. Because when I tried to do that, it failed.
You made it.
Okay. So basically what we've learned so far is that creating a serverless one in CDK is a pain. Good to know. I mean, it's
Looks
one
like
of
it
those ones
attached
figured
it.
out. Yeah.
I think we had our VPC probably screwed up or something.
Who knows?
Because it didn't see it on the one that it's deleting.
No, it actually, the error is related to the.
Oh,
instance
you know
class.
what? It didn't make a. Oh no, it did make the cluster. Okay. I have no idea where it would say, like, even this one doesn't, like, I wouldn't be able to tell you that it was serverless.
Yeah. Like, you.
Oh,
Did
there.
you find it? Where's it at? Okay,
It's because we never made the
so we
instance.
got the instance.
And so the reader instance that it created was serverless. So I think, like, if we're going to go try and figure out what was wrong, it's probably here where we do our readers, and it's probably very similar to an array of cluster instances dot provisioned, and then reader, and then we'd have to
that's where you do the instance type, and there's got to be something in there.
There's got to be an
serverless. Yeah.
I just don't know what the class is.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, for the sake of what we're doing today, that's kind of secondary.
You want me to put it on metal?
That's probably not. I only have so many credits to use here, so let's keep those a little more under control than that.
I wonder what it is. I don't know.
This is where you'd like to be able to, like, you know, use an LLM or use the internet to find these things. The problem is when these things change all the time, every answer you get is like old. Like I've yet to come across one that doesn't use instant props.
I was trying to see if I could see it in the.
Look at instance class burstable, maybe.
I was gonna try and look at the one that it made.
That's actually an interesting idea. So, if you go to the console from what it's made, there's this new thing. I have never actually tried it. Console to code. Let's click this button and see what the heck it does.
You want to? No one can see that.
Yeah, let me. Well, actually, what you want to share yours? Get yours back on stage here because you've already got this open. So, click on console code.
Okay.
Select CLI commands, whatever.
Oh, you have to do it from the beginning.
You have to actually click through it. Come on, that's not any good. Never
mind.
What is
that? I was hoping that in the configuration. See, there's like this serverless v2 instance type.
Yeah.
But it's not in
that's
the
what
instance
so
class.
I saw something that said burstable. And like maybe that's what serverless is. But you would think it would be, you know, very specifically serverless.
Well, and that's what's weird about this too. As I'm looking through like the props, it's doing the type EC2 instance types.
Right.
Which is like probably not going to have that.
Yeah. Maybe I need to be specifically B2. See if I can find all the exact same things that I've already found.
I wonder if this was my mistake that I imported this from the wrong spot. There we go. It would help if I didn't import the wrong instance type.
Yeah, that'll make it a difference. But why is that mad now?
Probably because it doesn't need this.
Oh. Nope, of does not exist.
Oh, it's probably
it's just this.
It's probably just that.
Wait, oh. No.
See, that's this cluster instance provisioned.
Yeah, that is EC2.
It's EC2.
What the heck? Maybe that's the wrong one too.
Is it? It's coming from RDS.
You're right.
But maybe there's a different one?
Database cluster props. Let's just try this. Nope. Sorry.
No, you're good.
I was undoing what you were doing as you were doing it. I still have not found an example of this that makes any sense. Writer cluster instance provisioned. Cluster instance serverless v2. What the heck? Here we go. I've got something here.
Do you?
Yeah. I think. Why is it still mad? Oh, because I don't. No. Oh, because there's not one there. Yep, here we go. You see what I got there?
Okay.
So I think it's. Oops.
And then what is the props on it?
Yeah. It seemed like they were optional, though. Oh, that's an array of readers? Of course, why wouldn't it be?
Oh, there's like not. I don't know that we need to do.
Yeah, I don't think we have to do any of those.
Any of them.
Stuff here.
Yeah, just ship it.
Yep, let me make sure that the stack is deleted. All right, let's try it again. This is actually interesting because the thing one of the things I want to figure out about this is like how difficult is this to get set up?
Looks pretty difficult.
Yeah. That said,
I mean, once we have it set up,
once you have it's okay.
But it's like, holy cow! Like they did not make it easy to set one of these suckers up.
Right. And for reference, so TJ already set up a Neon database. What, like 2 minutes worth of clicks?
Not even.
Yeah.
And there wasn't even that many clicks.
And I think like there's a degree to where like, okay,
nope,
some automation needs to happen. And like, I don't know how you do that in a production system. Was it failing?
Yeah, it says
it still shows some progress over
here. RDS does not support creating a DB instance with the following combination: DB R3 extra large.
Where do we specify that?
I don't know. Unless it's because of like the old cloud formation.
Yeah, I think you're looking at the old one.
No, that was the
current one's still running.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, my terminal must have got scrolled up.
Yeah, you must have. But so let's talk about this for a second. So if you were to use Neon in a production system, how would you go about doing that? Like it's almost got to be kind of a click ops outside on a band, right?
Well, I don't know. I guess like they do have APIs.
Have some APIs, yeah.
I mean, in fact, they even have a way that you can set up authentication
via the API.
To get like the API keys and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was actually like cruising around looking at some of the stuff where it was like, oh, if you can auth to like, you can create this auth provider.
Yep.
And so like you could have
Like
SSO and like
yep.
all that kind of stuff. And then, you know, there's like a bunch of like APIs, like different operations.
Yeah,
so you
so
can
they
list
have
the projects.
create a project, right? And so then within a project, then
Yep.
you create databases.
Yep. And then you would like, you can even create the branches.
Oh, that's right. So that's actually an interesting thing. I haven't checked this out, but in theory, they've got this concept of branching where effectively, like, think of it like a Git database where all of a sudden you can like have two branches of the database and like everything before it is the same, and then they start branching off of it. It's kind of an interesting use case. Can't imagine how I would use it, but it's interesting that it supports it.
But I mean, they have create database. So like,
okay.
if I was doing it, I would probably set up a custom resource that ran a Lambda function, and
you
know, we put the secret in the key in the thing, or use the SSO connection basically, because we should be able to attach it to our authentication. In our case, like for the
demo,
case,
we'll just get it up.
I just clicked it through. So we basically landed on our project, and then we only have a main branch. And you can actually see them. That's actually pretty cool that it like showed the monitoring right away.
Yep.
Like, I like that, like, cause it's like idle.
Yeah.
And you can see that it's compute suspended, and so it like isn't gonna like charge me.
Yep.
I'm not gonna click the connect because it will show the connection string, but it just gives you a basic Postgres connection string. And so what I just wanted to connect to it and see if I could run. So I set up a schema, which was pretty simple. You just add it. And then I created one table called posts with one thing in it called testing.
All right.
And then if you want to go back to the code.
Let's go back to the code. Oops.
I created a little neon DB TS.
Oops.
And it was actually pretty simple. So we do our .env config to pull in our process env, which it says database URL, but it's basically a full connection string.
Connection string.
And you just pass it to Neon, and you get back SQL, and you get SQL injection all over again.
That's interesting that it actually returns. That's how it does it. That's interesting. So this is where this is funny. Like, it's been so long since I've actually used a SQL database that I'm having to I could sit here and write SQL statements all day long, right? Selects from whatever. I can even do some complex joins and stuff, right? But the actual like code part of this, it's been so long I don't even remember how to do it. Yeah, so then if I want to do that in code, I would do what, like equals :ID. Oh, you're gonna SQL inject it. Okay.
That's what they had in their example.
Of course they did. So how do you? Because there's got to be a way to not have to do that, right? Like,
hold on, let me scroll back up through the examples, because like I was like, what?
I get that. That's nice and easy. Sure, cool, but like,
yes. Look here, I will show you. In their SDK. Right here. That's SQL injected.
Come on, guys. We got to do better than that. Surely we got
I don't.
That, so here's where the
here's what
client.
Here we go.
Okay.
So you can do client.
Yeah.
So how do you get a client? Oh, you would need a new pool. And then the pool does a connect, and then you can do.
Okay. I feel better about it. I mean, the begin is just transaction stuff, whatever. I don't care about that. But the fact that we can actually use real parameters so we don't SQL inject, that makes me feel better about the world.
Although a lot of their examples.
So, okay, this is like, I'm going to get on a little soapbox here. Don't write your examples with code that you don't want people to write.
Oh, I guarantee you there's production systems
Exactly.
out there right now with this, right?
Right,
Like,
because somebody wrote an example like this, and they're like, "Oh, well, that's the way you do it," and they just like, this is not how you do it. This is how you get something up and running quickly to show a demo, but it's not how you do it, and this is it's gonna create problems for you people. I promise
oh
you.
man, that's actually really interesting. So when you do the pool and the pool connect, you're making a WebSocket connection.
Interesting.
So we'll give that a shot, I
Yeah,
guess.
let's see
And
it.
see what that does. I've never connected to a database with WebSockets before. Like, this is a new one for me.
Yeah.
So we need pool. And rather than doing this, the neon, we are going to do const pool equals new pool. And connection string is the same. And then we'll do pool dot whoop on error. We'll just console log it. Oh, missed a paren. Then I got too many parens. So then we can do our client. And then we can do client.query. And what's really interesting is it's a WebSocket, right? So you can do begin. And you could do client like const rows ID equals 1. Or where did I get rid of it?
We had there, so
Const. It's jumping around on me.
I couldn't look the one line below to see that that's where it was. I had to make you retype the whole thing.
Oh, because it's... Why won't it let me do ID?
You got to set it equal to something.
Oh. It's just bitching about that.
Yeah.
Await client query. Oh, they were doing a... Oh, okay. I get it. Let's do... Where did they get post ID? And then insert into, I guess I should put them in capitals. Insert.
You don't have to. SQL doesn't care.
Well, we don't have all this like title crap. Posts, we want to put
have ID and what were the two things you had in there?
description, I think.
I'm not sure I ever was able to get into there.
But I don't think we do the ID.
Because
it's auto generated.
Yep. You're right.
And
I think Postgres would let you, but you don't want to.
And then returning ID. And then, man, this is a confusing thing. Hello world. So that's that part.
Go, yeah. So just so you can understand what that's doing there, this is a simple way of injecting parameters. So it's that $1 is going to be your first parameter in that array. So if you had $2, it would be the second parameter in that array, and so on and so forth.
And then I'm going to put this in just so that we can see that it's WebSocketed. is I'll throw an error in the middle of it. I want to put all of that here. And then in the catch, we'll do rollback. What's this complaining about?
By the way, for those of you wondering, our serverless cluster still has not been created yet.
Really?
Yeah, it's still running.
I'm missing something.
Just get rid of the big arrow on your catch.
Oh. There we go. All right. So,
why don't we? Is this going to throw? Did you say?
No.
Okay,
so
let's
this should insert it.
Yeah, but let's do a console log of post ID so we can at least.
Well, I was going to just pull it up. It should be in the.
You can do that too, but here, we might as well write it here. There we go. All right. Do it.
Oh.
I mean, I can do it too. There we go. Insert it with post ID 2.
Oh, and it's on. It's in there.
So
now here. Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead and you were going to go over to the.
No, I was going to just do this.
Just do it again.
But I'm going to throw an error before the commit.
Yep.
Because I want to show that the WebSocket will stop it.
Yeah. So
let's change this to Hello World 2.
Yep.
And then let's run it again.
All right.
Actually, it probably never killed it because we didn't close the connection.
Yeah, you're right.
So you're going to have to
Control C it.
Control C.
And we'll run it again. Roll back.
And look at that. Rolls it back. That's actually a really cool feature to be able to WebSocket and do that controlled begins, commit, and everything.
Yeah. It's sort of like the old way that you would work with databases in general, right? Like you have begin transactions and stuff. I'm curious what it does if you lose connection in the middle of it.
I don't know. Is there a way to force shut down the client?
Yeah, I know.
Wow, they got a lot of stuff.
So it'd be really hard to prove for this small of an example because.
Well, here, await client release.
Yeah, but you've already finished, right? So
No, I'm going to do it right. I'm going to do it before the commit.
Before the commit. Oh, before the commit. Well, there isn't a commit on here, is there?
No, there was.
Oh, okay.
There was a client dot
query commit.
Query commit.
Okay. So I would imagine that's going to leave hanging. Oh, we're still running.
Yeah, my guess is that it just ends. Nope.
Post ID 4. Well, so that's. Oh no, it actually went past it. Yeah.
Why did it go to 4?
Because 3 was rollback. So that's actually. Let's talk about that for a second. This is something people don't realize. Auto numbers in databases.
Yeah, it consumed it.
Exactly. If you have a transaction, it will consume an auto number. We were talking about this with one of the teams at work the other day because they were trying to basically generate auto numbers for some particular client thing, and I was like, just understand, whenever you do this, even if something fails, those numbers have been used. We actually years ago, I worked at a company that wanted to have IDs never miss an ID, so that they could use that to trace whether or not somebody had altered the data records. And we quickly found out that we would run a transaction, roll back that transaction, all of a sudden there'd be a big gap because we'd insert 1,000 records and then something would fail. And so we'd roll back and there's this big gap. And so that was when I learned that auto numbers actually get consumed in the transaction.
Nice.
Yep.
And I think we can do it with pool end. So let's try that one.
Yep.
Yeah. So I killed it and it did not enter into the database.
Yep.
Now I'd be curious. So we pool ended there. So now let's commit another one. Did it consume 5? Because it should be 6. It did not. So that's interesting. So it didn't basically trashed the transaction.
Yeah, that's interesting. I'm curious.
Well, I suppose we didn't do a rollback or a commit.
Yeah, but what's interesting though is so in a normal database situation, at that point in time, the transaction's already started.
Yeah, because we began.
Right.
I would have thought that would have been 6.
Yeah,
that's very interesting.
I'm surprised by that a little bit. Oh, hey, our Aurora database is apparently ready.
Oh, nice.
So all that said, I think one of the things that was interesting here is I don't know what the time out is on Neon, right? I know Aurora, you can configure it, and the default is 5 minutes before it scales down to 0. But I mean, this thing's popping up pretty quickly, right? Like, it's not the first time we did it. It wasn't like there was a big lag, right? Now you were clicking around the UI, so maybe that kind of spun it up automatically. But the thing that the thing that's interesting to me about these scale to 0 options is you're not going to scale to 0 in production, right? That's not the intent of this. It's not to have something in production that you scale to 0, because let's be honest. I mean, sure, if you're doing a proof of concept, that may be worth doing, but in reality, you don't want to scale to 0 in production. You want to at least have it responsive. But where we work, every one of our developers has their own environment, all our entire stack deployed. Well, we can't have this thing running, a SQL database running across 20 developers, and have that thing running all the time, right? But scale to 0 gives us the ability to do that. And the downside of that is when you scale up, there's a delay. And so one of the things I kind of want to see, and we'll see what this looks like if we switch over to Postgres here in a minute, is that in theory, it will scale up, but that first time it's going to hit and it's not going to be there, right? So you're just going to have to be either you got to warm it, have something that hits it in the background, or expect it's going to fail the first time, and then wait the 15 seconds or whatever it's going to take to scale it up and then go.
Yeah, I was hoping they had something in there. I'm actually pretty impressed with how they're. Oh, actually, here. Let me take back the screen real quick because we can actually. We see the start and suspend computes going off in the system operations. And it looks like the duration is around 400-ish ms.
Yep.
Which is not bad at all.
Yeah.
In all reality.
I mean, this is going over the wire, right? So it's,
Yeah. That's pretty cool.
Yep.
The start and suspend, and the metrics are pretty cool. To see what the RAM is and the CPU. Yep. I would definitely consider this for anything where I need a transactional type databasing.
Yeah, I think it's not even the transaction part of it. I think at a certain scale, or you don't
know the pattern. Exactly.
If you don't know the patterns, or you want some kind of search where you don't necessarily want to go as far as open search, right? Which that has a lot of complexity involved with even getting it set up and then managing it. But if you can run a SQL database that people are familiar with, and you can do operations, yes, you got to worry about indexes. I get it, but at some level, being able to do some simple stuff in a small number of rows, it works just fine. It's going to do in the UI. So what were you looking for?
Oh, I was going to connect to this thing.
Yep. So the secret's probably in Secrets Manager. I think it puts it there automatically.
No, I need the ARN.
The Secrets Manager ARN?
Yeah.
Well, still, just open up a new window.
Yeah, I will.
Just duplicate.
I was just hoping to do it fast.
That is one of the things that I do appreciate about the
Which
AWS
one is
version. Let me go look.
Well, that's database 1. That's not it. It's either serverless cluster secret or database secret.
It's actually database 1.
Huh?
Oh no, it's episodes. That's the wrong one. Episode 7 stack. Let's see. Where is that? Heaven forbid you tell me where this is. Monitoring configured detail.
Generated by CDK Stack 7, episode 7.
That's the one.
Well, they're both generated by it.
Is there
It's
one
either-
that's
There's
not
one that's
deleted?
serverless cluster secret.
No, it's not that one. That was the. Oh,
It's got to be the database one then.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess I can just try them both.
Yeah. Why?
And what was the database name?
I think. Let me look. Episode 7. Configuration.
Yep, that was it.
All right.
Oh, interesting. Password authentication failed for user BTB admin.
So that was not the right one.
But how did it why would it
It grabbed
damn
one
it,
and
damn it, Amazon. Like,
yeah.
oh man.
There's literally like nothing in the configuration that I can see that tells me what.
I'm gonna try the other one then.
I guess I could go look at the CloudFormation. That would have probably told me. Resources, database secret. It's called database secret.
There we go.
All right.
So, oh man.
So
This one doesn't have all the nice clicky
yeah,
things
exactly.
to make my post.
We have to
table.
actually create a table. Let's see if we can remember how to do that. Create table. I'm remembering my SQL.
Oh man.
Or you could try to use Q and see if Q can do it for you.
Does it have one?
Yeah. No, all the way to the right top. There you go. I don't know if this will work, but
Create me a table. It's gonna be like, I don't know what you're talking about. What do you mean you don't know what you're talking about? I'm like on the I'm on the page.
this is where we test the limits of Amazon Q.
Oh Lord.
Yeah. Well, hey, it has a great table.
Well,
command.
well,
There we
it's
go.
coming.
Okay.
It's coming
There we
in.
go. Let's grab that. There we go.
I mean, it kind of got what
Yeah,
I would have preferred it just do it.
Agreed.
Description. Let's just make it match the.
Yep.
Damn it, Grammarly. Description. And we don't need that.
Get rid of that trailing comma. It's not going to like that.
And what table? What name?
Post.
Oh,
What
yeah,
do you call it? I
posts.
can't remember. Yeah, post.
And technically, I put it in a different schema, but we're not going to do that today.
Yeah, whatever.
Success.
All right. So now we have a table.
So now we got a table. So now let's try and connect to this sucker.
Right. So we're going to have to use like a client, aren't we? Like get a Postgres client.
They don't have something?
I don't know. Why would
Really?
they? I mean,
I don't know.
I
I
assume
feel
not.
like they always have everything.
Let's see. Let me just search for it.
Where's
using a
your?
Postgres client?
Do you know how to? Do I need a TypeScript
wait.
file?
Wait, hold on a second. They have a data API.
Yeah. I need a new file, right?
Yeah, to test this out.
Aurora -db.ts.
And we enable the data API, so there is an SDK, I believe.
I'm gonna just copy this.
SDK.
We can switch back to the code. And if you want to switch to the Aurora DB.ts, and then I'm going to take all this out.
I'm going to see if I can install the SDK once I figure out what it is. Serverless Postgres data API SDK. Postgres. Maybe there's an SDK, maybe there isn't. Surely there's an SDK for this. AWS SDK data API. Let's just do.
It's called client-RDS-data.
That's what I was looking for. AWS. Oh, you already got it. You got it in here.
I cheated.
That's what I usually do too. I just didn't have it. All right. Oops, I don't want to do that. Why don't I go? I'll go grab the connection information and stick it in a different EMB. Actually, you need to do that because if I do that, everyone will see what I'm doing.
Oh. Okay, so you want me to get the connection string?
Yeah. Now I will start on using this data API.
And we probably want to get the writer.
Why did you do that?
Man, how do I even...
You know what, mate? Do you need it? Let's see what this does.
Well, I don't think you do, because like technically it's a...
Yeah, because the data...
There's the two endpoints, right? The problem is that we aren't going to be able to connect to them. Because these are on a VPC, aren't they?
No, because we enabled data API.
Oh.
We'll see what it does. I don't know. That was one of my questions.
Interesting.
What are the commands? Execute statement. So, need a resource ARN, which I assume is the database. A secret ARN. Oh, so it has to know the ARN of the secret, but that's fine. Database. So 7. Some SQL.
It says the status of the data API is enabled, but where the hell do you get the freaking connection?
So you don't. If you look at my screen here, you give it the resource ARN, so that'll be the ARN of the database. And then the ARN of the secret.
Oh, okay, cool. Then I'll put that in the EMB.
You don't even need it to be in the. It's just the ARN. It's not even the secret itself.
Oh, okay.
So if you want to grab that and just stick it in the code, I don't care. ARN. I assume that this is what I want.
And then you want the ARN of...
Yeah, I grabbed it.
Which one did you grab, though? The cluster or reader or writer?
I grabbed the cluster. That's a good question. I grabbed the cluster. Let's see if that's
right. I'm hoping that just does it. Oh, you're going to insert, huh?
Well, because we got to insert, right?
Oh, look, it's another... do you have to provide parameters? Can we SQL inject in that sucker?
Oh, sure you can. Of course you can. It's a string.
Oh, man.
It is interesting. They go a little further and they're like, I'm not even sure this is right. Like, this feels like this needs to be something more like this.
Yeah, it reminds me of Dynamo.
Yeah. I mean, this does remind me a little bit of how it's been a long time since I've done Postgres, but how I would have done it normally in Postgres. This part of it feels very Dynamo-like. It's a string value.
Oh man, I'm excited.
Let's see what it does. Are you typing?
I'm trying to select star from posts.
Oh, okay.
Right now it's empty.
Why is it not? Why is my console not autofilling for me?
Ooh,
Didn't like that. Invalid region. Okay. Let's try.
Oh, in the resource arm.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Writer instance. Let's see if this is. That's not an ARN. Oh. This is where using having it autofill things for you can sometimes bite you. Whenever you use Copilot, always look at what it does. Well, it still didn't like that.
It still says it's invalid.
Oh, because we have this in it. I feel like we're getting closer. No value. Oh, we didn't tell it to make that an auto number.
How do you do that?
Honestly, I don't remember anymore. I'm just.
Oh no, it disconnected me.
I don't remember anymore because it's been too long. So I'm going to do this.
Yeah, just put it in.
Yeah. Value.
Long value.
So that's probably because this doesn't really make sense because I'm returning.
Well,
Let's
I would take the colons out maybe.
no, I think if you go look at actually let's do this real quick. Do you have that connection back up again? Go query.
Yeah.
I bet you.
Oh yeah, no, it's in there.
So it wasn't there. Just the statement is a little weird. Okay, so I mean, got it up and running. It's working with it is more. I mean, it's not bad. Like if we think about, you're writing a SQL statement just like you did before.
Yeah.
You did have to have a VPC to get this thing set up, but I don't have to use the VPC. What's interesting, I think what's happening behind the scenes here is you're telling it the resource, you're calling the API, and the API is saying, okay, I'm going to use this secret and I'm going to go make a database connection myself.
Yep.
Right. Like, so it goes behind the VPC. Obviously you have to have permissions to make that call or whatever. Kind of weird, but interesting.
Yeah.
Gets the same results. I will say the one advantage here is from a billing perspective, from a consistency perspective, it's just there, right? As opposed to using something like Neon. The big thing for me is I think it was Neon and the likes. There's others out there. I think Nile is another one that pushed Amazon to support scale to zero.
Yeah.
Because prior to around reInvent last year, the lowest you could go is 0.5, and something that's running at 0.5 all the time costs you a couple $100, $100 a month, something like that. I don't remember what the number is. I'd have to go look it up again. Even if it's $50 a month, you multiply that times number of people, or just somebody trying to do a side project, and it's just not worth it, right? So, interesting options. I think both of them were kind of cool. I don't. What's your feel? Which one do you like better?
I mean, from a long-term perspective, I'd probably end up on Aurora. But if I was doing something like quick and dirty, it's hard to not like just being able to do a quick setup for Neon. Obviously, to your point, having it in the consolidated billing, not having to manage another vendor, not having to go through the security review and all that other good jazz. I think the data API is really cool. I didn't know that. I just learned about that today here. I'm not thrilled with a VPC, even though we're not using it.
Right. It's a VPC that doesn't do anything. Why do I have to create it? Right. And I mean, let's look at that real quick. Right. It's not like that took a lot of work. Right.
Yeah.
It's this, basically one liner here, right? Like, not a big deal, but at the same time, like, why? Like, if
Well,
you're not going to make me use it, then don't make me use it.
I think the reason behind it is because of the multi-AZ, because
Sure.
that applies it to, like, so right now I'm looking at the console of it, what it created,
Yeah.
and it, like, the cluster itself doesn't get put in the VPC. It's the readers and writers that
Right.
are, and it's saying that it's in the VPC in 2 zones, and so that's like, obviously they could
Right. They
put
could not.
something. They could
Yeah,
do it
'cause,
themselves,
yeah,
but
'cause
I
Dynamo
think that that's
does.
why,
Right.
right? Like,
But there, I mean, there's definitely the ability. I guess this is one of those where I'm like, you know what? Make that optional.
yeah,
And if I like, again, I think
Just-
there's plenty of people that would use it, right? That's fine. But if I don't need it, then don't make me have it. But
Yeah.
but nonetheless, I mean, that's not a kill for me. That's
no.
just kind of an annoyance.
No, honestly, it's not, I mean, this isn't that bad when you think about like how this would expand out in an actual
Yeah.
CDK stack. You're gonna pass the secret ARN through. You're gonna
Right.
pass the resource ARN through,
Yep.
and like it'll get put into the environment pretty easily.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I like it, and then I'd assume it's just IM permissions to call
Yeah,
that
to
execute
call the
statement.
execute, yeah.
Can.
Yep.
I'd be curious how far you can like filter that
Scope
down.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, like
let me look at I usually have this open, but I don't. Actually, let me get to.
but overall, I think either one is a good option.
I'm trying to find all the. Yes, I am. There we go. I think this is it.
I mean, this still can be. I guess my one thing on Neon is I'm still not convinced there's not SQL injection like at all points, because like even with this query, the client, you're still passing a string.
Well, I mean, but you're doing that anywhere, right? Like ultimately, you're always passing a string. The question
Well,
is, are you doing are you actually injecting it, or are you using parameters?
Well,
Because that's what always saves you.
I guess it just depends on how it evaluates it, because like you could put in, like, let's say hello world was input,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And you could definitely do SQL. Like I could write
you're
something
right.
to append it in.
I'm gonna give them the benefit of the doubt. I mean, you always look at test that. But I'm gonna give them the benefit of the doubt and say they weren't that stupid. Because man, that would be terrible.
Yeah, that would be like, that's the one thing that I'm just kind of like, I don't know. Like, I mean, I can do my own, but there's just so many libraries out there that provide that, peace of mind that
Right.
somebody's not going to.
Yeah, and I mean, at the end of the day, you could use the Postgres library directly, right? Because it's just
Yep.
a connection string. It's not going to be any different.
Yeah, no, that's true too.
Wow, I don't. This is something I should be able to pull up really fast, but I'm not. There's a reason, I guess, why I always keep this open on my computer, but I'm not on the computer I always have it open on. To find the IAM policies, but
Oh, for the yeah.
I'm always curious what they are. But yeah, to see how fine grained you can get. The other thing that's interesting, actually, I think I kind of know the answer to this. It's probably not about the data API as much as it is the secret, right? Because the secret grabs you a certain user.
Oh, that's true. So
And
you
so
could
at that point in time, you can do whatever you want on the user level.
Yeah. Well, and I'll pull this up real quick. I mean, I think it's going to be pretty basic from like the data service.
Yep.
There's going to just be begin, commit, roll back.
Yep.
Like execute SQL statements and all that good jazz, but that's about it.
Yeah.
I don't think there's going to be a whole lot, but I think you're right.
Yeah.
And that'd be
it's down to the
interesting.
user.
How do you, like, we set up can you do multiple users then?
Yeah.
For like, as you're adding them?
Yeah, you can. So you can add them dynamically. And as a matter of fact, like one of the things you can do with different databases like Postgres, MySQL, is do row level security, where you effectively create you don't even necessarily have to create a new user. Sometimes some of them have. I think Postgres has this ability to basically when you log in, you can give it different profiles, and you can tell the profile when you connect to a profile, it limits what rows of the table it would have access to. And so that's how you can kind of get row level security. So at the point of connection, you kind of get different permissions. Effectively, it's kind of like it's switching roles within that connection. So it'd be interesting to see how they do that or what capabilities there are. Some of it might just be that you have to log in with one and switch, but that's a whole nother topic. Multi-tenancy in a SQL database, definitely ways to do it, but yeah, this was interesting. I learned a few things. I think you did as well. I think at the end of the day, something worth considering. I've always kind of shied away from it because of the fact that you couldn't have that scale to zero option. And I think Neon really kind of pushed the edge on that. And I think it's good that's being pushed down to everyone. And now we get it with Aurora. But even if you don't want to use Aurora, you want to use Neon, go for it. I think great options either way.
Yeah, definitely good options. It was fun to dig into them and definitely learn some stuff today.
Yep. Well, cool. That is the end of the show for tonight. We'll be back in a couple weeks. Thanks everybody for watching. Bye.